This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Civil Services heads the MBA way, the road-based prelims scrapped in favor of an aptitude test. Threat to the Thanjavur temple subsides for now after the Madras High Court stays the Borewell project. It's the most scathing attack yet on Karnanidhi by anyone. CPM General Secretary calls him anti-Dalit. Is the CPM getting close to a mark? Installing CCTV cameras in pawn shops will soon be made mandatory across Tamil Nadu. Well, we know these men are at odds, but shocking details emerge of how Narendra Modi might be having a silent laugh. And it's not just about cricket. Robin Singh now bats for all sports by setting up a brand new sports academy.
If they're 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, but I want to ensure that we give them the best possible along with their education.
All that and much more coming your way. Very good evening. I am Sai Manish. You're watching the Late Night News. Let's have a look at the national headlines before we get you all the details. Thousands of disgruntled farmers from UP march to Delhi protesting land acquisition for the Yamuna Express project. 2 years after promising to help the tribals against Vedanta, Rahul Gandhi returns to hold a rally near Niyamgiri. Don't fire at them, don't even lathi charge them. That's the Prime Minister's brief to security agencies against Kashmiri stone pelters. A major embarrassment for the judiciary. 5 judges caught cheating in an exam. In a significant move, the government has agreed to a proposal to introduce civil services aptitude, also to be called the CSAT, in place of the civil services preliminary examination that was announced by the Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Prithviraj Chauhan, on the floor of the Rajya Sabha today. The CSAT, of course, will be like the MBA CAT and other management exams. Now, that means that the optional subjects which IAS aspirants could choose for the prelims will be dispensed away with totally, and also the general studies exam. The government is, though, still silent on whether what kind of syllabus would be introduced for CSAT and what the time frame will be for the introduction of this aptitude test. Now, the way India selects its civil servants is all set to change, as we just told you, with the introduction of this aptitude test. But are Chennai's budding civil services aspirants ready for the change? Our reporter Zoya Thomas finds out.
From next year, the Indian Civil Services preliminary examinations attempted by nearly 1.7 lakh candidates will have a new format. The candidates hereafter will have to take 2 objective type assessments under a civil services aptitude test. But Chennai civil services aspirants don't seem to be happy with the changes.
Of course, we welcome changes. We need changes and we want to adapt to changes. But change in all of a sudden, within days, and which is even not clear, will surely affect the psychological status of the student who is going to an examination.
Bringing out apps paper is going to give more advantages to managing students, engineering students who are all obviously involved in it in this process. But those who are not from the engineering and management area, and those who are preparing it from past many years, so that they're going to be much affected with it.
Some coaching institutes say the system should be implemented after a period of at least 2 or 3 years. They say the new system is biased in favor of urban students.
Students who are left out with few attempts in the subsequent years, they are literally shocked because of the insecurity feeling they have got. If they don't clear this year, at least if the current pattern is continuing, then they can make it in the next attempts. But with the introduction of civil services test in the very next year, then it has come as a shock for them, and they are in a sense of little bit of disbelief also.
While some aspirants have welcomed the change, some feel that the new format is biased. But they all agree on one thing, that India's future Babus will have the right aptitude. With camera person Prabhu, this is Zoya Thomas for NDTV Hindu.
And of course, when we broke this story, Zoya Thomas also joined us a short while back to tell how this move could affect thousands of IAS aspirants across the country.
So far, the prelims in the civil service examinations, all these years as well as this year, which just concluded 2 months ago, contained two papers. One was a general test which contained, which carried questions that were related to current affairs as well as portions from different subjects. Now the other paper was an optional paper. Now students had options of around 23 subjects from history to geography to political science. Now this optional paper is going to be scrapped, and in place of it we are going to have an aptitude test. This aptitude test will carry more of mathematical aptitude and logical reasoning. So the big question is this biased against art students and science students? Because most of the students that we spoke to, as well as coaches in coaching institutes, in IAS coaching institutes in Chennai as well as across around the country, have said that the new format is biased towards management students, because they are very familiar with aptitude tests. This is a big disadvantage for all those students who are making their last attempt. As you know, there are only 4 attempts in this examination. So those who are making their 4th attempt next year will be at a big disadvantage, because for 3 years they have been preparing in a particular format, but next year they will be studying for a new format. Also coaching institutes, they have been giving out material for coaching, for studying, even through correspondence, for a particular format, for an optional subject. Now that is being totally done away with. So definitely something that has been done all of a sudden.
On the day after Chief Minister Karunanidhi lashed out at both the CPM and the CPI, State Secretary G. Ramakrishnan charged that most of the participants at the function where Govindaswamy supporters joined the DMK were actually their party workers themselves. He refuted Chief Minister's claim that the popular support for the DMK was on the rise. He also said that the anti-incumbency wave developing against the DMK due to the anti-people policies would harm the DMK quite a bit in its most scathing attack. The CPM hinted that Karunanidhi is in fact anti-Dalit, possible indication that the CPM may be quietly headed towards a mass camp.
Going for joint acts with ADMK on people's issues. For example, on April 27th, against price rise, we have joined to raise our voice. There is a hartal all over the country, including Tamil Nadu also. On July 5th also, on the same issue, we have joined hands with ADMK, MDMK, CPI, other parties to observe hartal on July 5th. On people's issues, we are coordinated with them.
Now, how does this statement and a lot of other political maneuvers pan out in the broader political canvas in Tamil Nadu, of course, in the race to the upcoming assembly elections next year? Peer Mohammed joined us to analyze what this means for the entire political alliance and the political calculations of different parties in the state. Listen in.
There are people who see that there might be 4 political formations ahead of the 2011 assembly elections. One, the DMK Congress alliance, because the DMK Congress alliance is intact as claimed by the Congress High Command. The Congress Tamil Nadu in charge, Ghulam Nabi Azad, made it clear that there is no rift between DMK and the Congress. That is one formation, and the other formation is definitely ADMK and the left parties along with MDMK, Vaiko's MDMK. And another formation is that Vijay Gandhi is not being accepted in the DMK or in the ADMK. Another factor is the PMK, which is also not accepted by either the DMK or the ADMK.
Well, on to the raging controversy in which N. Srinivasan, the owner of the Chennai Super Kings team, now finds himself in. Now, Srinivasan has outrightly denied allegations that he is involved in rigging bids during IPL auctions, that too in season 2. In a statement, Srinivasan said he did not need anyone's favor. He in fact said that he had the money power to go and purchase Andrew Flintoff for a sum of 1.55 million. That was more than what Rajasthan Royals bid for, and therefore there was no deal. And also he denied allegations that his purse was increased to $2 million by a secret deal with Modi. Now, he said that he had the money power, so he went ahead with the purchase of Flintoff. Now, one man who would be silently laughing at Srinivasan's discomfort is, of course, Lalit Modi, the suspended IPL commissioner. He isn't exactly sitting silent on this one. He's tweeted dragging former BCCI President AC Mutaya into the picture. Responding to his fan club, Modi has stated that the matter between Muthaiya and Srinivasan is still hot topic, indicating perhaps that Srinivasan also needs to be answerable for the misuse of powers as the BCCI post holder. Now let's just remind you, Muthaiya has accused Srinivasan of being involved with the Super Kings despite holding posts in the BCCI, and that hearing will come up in the Supreme Court on the 9th of September. That's what Lalit Modi will be anxiously waiting for. Now, what is the background of all this? Of course, Srinivasan has been forced to come out with clarifications. Now, NDTV is in possession of letters that suggest the IPL chairman Lalit Modi and BCCI secretary, and of course the owner of Chennai Super Kings and Srinivasan, colluded to rig the bidding process for the second IPL auction. Lalit Modi, on a request from Srinivasan, got the Rajasthan Royals to opt out of bidding for Andrew Flintoff, even though Captain Shane Warne was very keen on having him. Flintoff was eventually sold to the Super Kings. The letters also suggest that Srinivasan used his good offices then with Lalit Modi and had his bidding purse of $1.85 million increased to $2 million. Now, of course, those are allegations Lalit Modi would be happy about, since it's not often that Srinivasan is in a fix. We'll be following that story as it develops. Of course, September 9th is when the Muthaiya Srinivasan case also comes up for hearing. We'll be on top of it. Moving on to something from the state also now. It's a perfect 1000th birthday gift for the Thanjavur temple. The Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has asked the Archaeological Survey of India to stop the digging of bowel at the famous Tanjore Brihadeswara temple. Further, the court has also said that any development activity cannot happen if it damages the 1000-year-old monument. In fact, the Thanjavur Temple Rights Retrial Committee filed a petition in the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court against drilling of a bowel close to the Sanctum Sanctorum of the big temple in Thanjavur. Hearing the petition, the judges stayed the drilling of the bowel and any other development activity which might adversely affect the temple structure. Now, when NDTV Hindu contacted the MD of the Tamil Nadu Tourism and Development Corporation, he denied any knowledge of the issue, saying that he was not even aware of it.
Again and again I am telling, I am not at all aware of this bore well, because 4 days I was out of station. Yesterday evening only I came from Delhi. So I don't know about this bore well story at all. Now only, you are only telling me about the bore well.
தஞ்சை பெரிய கோயில் கருவறைக்கு மிக அருகிலே அண்மையிலே ஆழ்துளை கிணறு தோண்டப்பட்ட செய்தியை அனைவரும் அறிந்தோம். அவர்கள் திட்டமிட்டபடி தோண்டியிருக்கிறார்கள். அடுத்து அவர்கள் நீருறிஞ்சும் கட்டத்திற்கு அவர் செல்லவில்லை. இந்த நிலையிலே தான் நாம் அதை பார்த்திருக்கிறோம். இதை ஏனோ தானோ என்று விட்டுவிடவும் கூடாது. இதை அப்படியே மூடுவது என்பது கூட பிழைதான். அதை மூடுவதற்கான புதிய தொழில்நுட்ப உத்திகள் எல்லாம் இருக்கின்றன. இதற்காக வல்லுநர் குழுவை அமைக்க வேண்டும். இந்த வல்லுநர் குழு யுனெஸ்கோ அமைப்பின் மூலமான வல்லுநர் குழுவாகவும் தமிழர் மரபு கட்டடக் கலைஞர்களையும் உள்ளடக்கிய குழுவாகவும் இருக்குமானால் இந்த பழைய கட்டடத்தினுடைய மணற்படுகையினுடைய சமநிலை எப்படி இருந்தது என்பதை பார்த்து அதற்கு ஏற்றார் போல மீண்டும் அதை உறுதிப்படுத்துகிற வேலை செய்ய முடியும்.
In the wake of increasing thefts reported by pawnbrokers and jewelry businesses, police in Chennai say soon security cameras at their shops will be a compulsory security requirement. This, in fact, legislation to enforce the rule is under consideration. Salim reports.
One, I'll say they're careless, and second thing, they are not sensitive to the job that they are doing. They're interested only in making money.
The police feel those are the main reasons for the increase in incidents of thefts in the jewelry business. To force them to take basic security measures such as surveillance cameras and insurance of valuables and properties, the police say a legislation is necessary.
Incorporating these elements in the legislation, that they should have security measures, they should ensure before they start a business like that. We will bring in, recommend to the government.
Recent high-value thefts in the state attracted police attention. In Viluppuram, jewels worth 1.5 crore rupees was stolen by robbers at a pawn shop. And in Madurai, a jewel trader was murdered and crores of rupees worth jewels were stolen from him. In both cases, basic security measures were ignored by the victims, which posed a challenge to the police. Police have clearly said security is the responsibility of the pawnbroker. They say put the basic security measures in place or face the risk of losing the license to run the business. In Chennai, Salim for NDTV Hindu.
Time for us to slip into a very short break, but up on the other side, he's the world's #1 golfer, but personal problems seem to be getting the better of his talent. And Robin Singh gets candid on his new sports academy. And how? That's coming up next. Stay with us.